The Assistant Minister for Youth and Employment Services.
Well, thanks, Mr Deputy Speaker. Let me point out a few facts before the Shadow Defence Minister leaves the chamber. And for those listening, this is the man that wants to be Defence Minister and replace Peter Dutton in an uncertain time as Australia's Defence Minister. Let me give you some facts. When the Shadow Defence Minister was last in office for 6 years, do you know how many ships they built under the naval shipbuilding in Australia? 0. No wonder the first Defence Minister that came in said they couldn't build a canoe, because they'd built no ships. The coalition government, since we've been elected and I've been elected, has built 70 naval ships. It is not the time to go to that Shadow Defence Minister and leave Peter Dutton. It is not the time to go to Anthony Albanese or the opposition leader from the Prime Minister, Mr Deputy Speaker. Let me give those listeners also some facts on Labor's record in manufacturing. On Labor's watch, the last time they were in government, manufacturing exports fell by 13%. Fell by 13%. On Labor's watch, last time they were in government, manufacturing business profits, and they need a profit to employ people, fell by 17.4% in their last term of office, and over 110,000 apprentices were lost in one single year. That's their record. Don't talk about rhetoric to us. That's their record. In Labor's term in office, 6,800 manufacturing businesses closed their doors, and over 37,300 manufacturing jobs were lost in Labor's last year in office. And right now we have Labor candidates running around this country with Australian-made symbols on their brochures. I mean, really? Look at their record. The coalition government, under the leadership of Prime Minister Scott Morrison, in the last 3 years alone, has seen manufacturing increase by over 20%. There was 800,000 jobs at the last election in manufacturing in 2019. There's now over 1 million jobs in manufacturing. So, Mr Deputy Speaker, the choice will be clear in a few weeks' time at the next federal election about what Australians will be making. And I would say to the Australian people and the people of my electorate that the Australian government, led by Prime Minister Scott Morrison, has a plan for a strong economy, a stronger Australia, and by unlocking a new generation of high-wage, high-skill and high-tech jobs through manufacturing. We've committed over $925 million to manufacturing projects here in Australia alone, leveraging the confidence of businesses to co-invest over $2.5 billion. And what do we see? We see unemployment at 4%. We see youth unemployment fell below 10%. And as the Assistant Minister for Youth and Employment Services, I'm really proud to be part of a government, to see people in more work. We've seen welfare dependency fall to 15%. Under Labor, it was over 16.5%. And that's so important because we want Australians to be able to provide for themselves. We want Australians to be able to provide and own their first home. And we've got schemes in place for young people, not just in Petrie, but right through the electorate, right through Australia, for 25 to 35-year-olds, perhaps those people that are looking to buy their first place, or maybe even younger, schemes like the First Home Super Saver scheme that allows you to save at 15% rather than 32.5%. Those opposite voted against it when we put that through the parliament. Schemes like the First Home Deposit scheme that the Treasurer will speak more about in the budget tonight. And, Mr Deputy Speaker, they're the facts on manufacturing and the statistics that Labor can't escape. So they can go on all about they want about their Australian-made and everything else. The reality is they've got a very poor record when it comes to Australian-made and buying Australian first. And I'd say to people in my electorate, please purchase Australian-made. Please purchase it. Please go out there and do that. We've got a modern manufacturing fund that is supporting more manufacturing jobs in the country. And in my own electorate, we've seen local businesses like Kingswood Cabinets that have basically tripled their turnover in the last sort of time that we've been in government. In the last sort of 7 or 8 years, they've tripled their turnover. They're hiring more apprentices thanks to the Boosting Apprenticeship scheme. We've got businesses like Brisbane Isuzu, for over 20 years, have proudly powered other local businesses and manufacturers with their Isuzu trucks in Brisbane, located in my electorate, and they have strong local manufacturing opportunities, strong balance sheets, they're family-owned, businesses like big rigs who manufacture as well for the back of those trucks. So, Mr Deputy Speaker, the Coalition has jobs and Australians' backs when it comes to manufacturing.
Time has expired, and I call the member for Bendigo.